You can never go wrong in designing white or silver haired characters. Never. Anyways, though, my gosh, man, it has been a phenomenal ride for, I think this was spring anime 2026. And we did eat a crap ton. I mean, we got the ending of Fate Strange Fate, which if you haven't watched, I highly recommend, but I highly suggest watching a lot of Fate series, especially following the order in which, what is the most popular and recommended route. But also, Frieren, my lord, man, I felt like those 10 episodes went by so freaking fast, and I want more, but I cannot wait for October 2027 because that is when the new season releases. And JJK. Now, I'm not going to lie, I haven't finished watching it yet. I don't think I'm even near the ending of it, but all I will say is that just comparing all the hype around it, you can tell that it's going crazy, especially with the animation, the pop culture references, the opening. I mean, so many things are going so well for that series. I just want to say that spring is awesome, but I cannot wait for summer because there are, I want to say, not niche, not small animes, but pretty overlooked ones. And one of them is actually getting an anime adaptation from a manga that I was a fan of. And if you're into romance, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, then I guess fast forward into the next two because those two are isekai as well as just intense and drama. But the first one I want to talk about is Smoking in the Supermarket, or in the back of the supermarket with you. Now, I'm sorry if I butchered the title. I just tried to say it at the top of my head. But again, it's just a romance of a guy that works at a office, a very shitty office. If I'm not wrong, it's a black company, so they overwork this poor dude. And to relieve some stress, he goes to smoke in the back of a supermarket where he's allowed to. But then he runs into a female that is, I guess, goth looking. But throughout this entire story, he is in love, and not necessarily in love, but is cheered up by a lady at the grocery line. She checks him out, and she's very cheerful, and she makes his day. But little does he know that there's a small little twist with all of this. I'll stop from right there. But yeah, no, it's a very wholesome series. It's a small niche, and I'm really glad that it's getting an anime adaptation, and I'm surprised that it took this long because of all the other animes that are getting adapted that I just am surprised are getting another season. I'm looking at you, vending machine. Other than that, yeah, no, I'm glad. The other one is Saga of Tanya the Evil. Wow, man. It's been how long since we've gotten another season? I've been going through like an emotional roller coaster for this series alone, solely because I remember back in, I think, back in 2021, I had thought that we were going to get another season then and there. But come to find out that I'm pretty sure only an OVA came out, and it was about getting pasta in the desert. And it was an anime original. And dude, I'm not going to lie, I was so sad. I really thought that we were going to get more peak on peak. But this time it's official. This July, we are getting an official season for this series, and I cannot wait. I want to say that this is probably one of the most overlooked isekais of all time, because don't get me wrong, ReZero is pretty good, and don't get me wrong, Overlord is pretty good. Now, why am I mentioning these specific animes specifically? Well, that's because they are an isekai quartet, and out of all the four of Saga of Tanya the Evil and all the other animes that I just mentioned, Saga of Tanya the Evil is certainly one that doesn't get as much noise as it deserves, and y'all are freaking missing out because this main character is an absolute lunatic, and in the best way possible. Not really as a lunatic, but there are some moments where she looks like she's out to out for blood, and it's one of the coolest moments within the series. But a lot of the time she's fighting this entity known as God. Now, is it really God? Most likely, but she tries to deny his existence because of all the cruel things that's happened in the past in his real world and the things that are currently happening in that world. And if you want to look at it, I feel like it's an anime that adapts everything from like World War One to World War Two. Now, there aren't like truthfully calling out the actual nations within this series. There are made up nations, but you could kind of assume which side is which. And Tanya is, not necessarily evil within this series, but is doing what she needs to do to survive. And she's not wanting to be pushed out in the front lines. In fact, she actually wants to be, I guess, as laid back and least conflicted as possible. But her ways to do that is stupid. Let's just say that. But it's a good story nonetheless, and I highly recommend it. Right now, I think it only has like one seasons and some movies, so I highly recommend watching it. Lastly, is one that I've made a whole video about, and I'm saying right now is definitely an anime series that nobody has ever looked for this spring, and I'm so glad that it's going to pop off this summer as it's going to get a theatrical release. Now, this theatrical release is going to be just a little bit picky because you're only going to be able to watch this within the duration of 2 weeks. And this is Shibo Yugi playing death games to put food on the table. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. This was one of the most underrated anime series of this year, and not many people are looking into it because of they are scared of seeing people either get killed or assuming that it's a fetish anime because characters are wearing maid outfits. Now, I've made an entire video explaining why they look the way they do and why there's some censorship within this series, and it makes a lot of sense. You just literally have to get past the first episode because it literally holds your hand, explains it to you why they are doing the things the way they do, and it makes a lot of sense. But again, people's attention spans are absolutely dookie. But I will say that though that there is like a small minor inconsistency within the story. They do leave some things off and the pacing is maybe a little bit different. It's just saying this right now is not your traditional anime. It leaves a lot up to like the director's creativity because everything, it's just so unique, and that's probably why I like this series so much. I like series like Sony Boy, this one right here, everything that just takes a step away from like generic anime and generic storytelling, and I just freaking love this series, man. It's so good and so underrated. It's pretty intense and it's pretty gruesome. I'm not going to lie, the last episode of the season had my jaw dropping, or I think it was like the episode before. I was not expecting seeing certain deaths that way. Holy shit. And it's only going to get worse because this movie, we have a promotional, I guess, small trailer of it. It probably lasts like around 10 seconds, but it tells you what's actually happening, how some deaths are, and there seems to be another nutcase within this death game. So I highly recommend keeping your eye out for this one. Do not want to miss this theatrical release. Now, we don't have much information for this right now. The only thing that we do know is that it's only going to be out for a limited time with selected movie theaters, but we don't know those theaters yet, in which location, in which states. So keep an eye out, and if you want, you can follow me down on my socials. I have them linked down below in the description, and usually I keep up to date with other series that also have theatrical releases, as well as other animes that do come out in the future. So if you want to, go ahead and follow them. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. I'll try to keep y'all updated here. Anyways though, appreciate y'all for hanging around. Let me know what y'all guys think down in the comments below. Which anime are you excited for summer 2026? Are y'all looking forward to Shibo Yugi, the movie? Oh my gosh, man. I'm just gonna say right now, these outfits are absolutely magnificent. Anyways though, y'all have a wonderful freaking day, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Adios.